Ngamiland Council of Non-Governmental Organizations, NCONGO, is one of Botswana's key advocacy bodies for communities, if not their key body. It's been quite busy lately mobilizing communities around the country to help them benefit from natural resources, especially as the new Community-Based Natural Resources Management Act is being implemented. Today, we host the executive chairman, or shall we say the CEO of NCONGO, Mr. Slim Samaseku, to get a deeper insight into their activities and the work they are faced with to ensure true beneficiation by communities. My name is Oshinga Tsiang. Welcome to Wild BW Podcast. Mr. Samaseku, thank you so much for agreeing to talk to us today. And it's been a while. We've been trying to get hold of you, but you are the man who's at the head of NCONGO. Can you just tell us what NCONGO really is about and its makeup, the profile of the organization itself?
Thank you, Areo Shingatsiang, for the opportunity for NCONGO to actually be able to showcase its work. We are an organization that was formed by community organizations and NGOs within the Ngamiland. We were formed in 2008 as a council or a coalition that is community or people-centered. We actually operate with 4 thematic areas where we categorize our membership, because we are membership-based. Our membership as those who are in health, those who are in youth programs, those who are in orphan and vulnerable care, those who are doing gender and disability programs, and those who are in environment and livelihoods. And the environment and livelihoods takes a bigger chunk because our region where we are situated, about 18 are community-based organizations which are trust. We call them community trust because they focus on community-based natural resource management programs. So that's who NCONGO is. Mm-hmm. It was mainly to advocate for the communities in that region in terms of resources that are not actually reaching them because a lot of things were centralized within the city here, and we found that we are left out in many cases in terms of resources reaching us. Mm-hmm. The environment where we exist, it's a rich environment. There is abundance of wildlife, abundance of natural resource, but on the other side of the fence, there is a community. But within the community, the scale of poverty, we have been the second, if not the first, according to the statistics of the country, in terms of the poverty data line. So we are there in terms of actually bringing the voices of these communities.
Who's funding?
Yeah, we have different funders. We get some funding from international NGOs. JAMA has actually supported us. USAID has supported us. EU has supported us. Government of Botswana has also supported us in different, through other levies like the CTF. We benefited from CTF before. We have actually got some funding again through OCACOM that was coming from GIZ. So there are a number of funders that have actually helped us, including WWF, Washington office. So there are a number of funding coming from different streams,
so you do
including individuals.
Okay.
Yes.
So you do have quite a support.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's in Ngamiland,
Yes.
Ngamiland based,
Yeah.
does that mean it excludes any NGOs that are out that are in any other place in Botswana? But isn't that Isn't there a case for actually making it nationwide?
What we have done is we took a deliberate action in terms of the community-based natural resource management to actually include all community-based organizations within the country in terms of the support that we provide. So we have been providing support to community trust across the country in terms of advocacy, in terms of training, in terms of linking them to Southern African organizations. We are a member of an organization called Community Leaders Network of Southern Africa, which actually has membership of about 16 countries. And we also sit in their board representing Botswana, and we sit there as a treasurer, but that's in Congo that sits there. We have been also linking the community trust with other players, like certain events that are actually regional, like if you take the Wildlife Consultative Forum that usually takes place across the countries. We have been actually also representing communities there. We have actually also represented our communities for Botswana under the CASA Summit that also takes place. We have represented the country through CITES. We have taken the community trust, some of the community trust, to basically to markets, tourism markets, basically for hunting markets. So we took them to the one that was in Germany, and then the common one that's held in US. So we have taken them there in terms for them to see the first-hand experience on how their product in terms of the quotas are sold in their market, so that if we make a certain kind of move for communities to be able to stand on their own, they can know the processes. So we have actually started that kind of journey.
Wow. So you've been doing quite a lot, and also looking at the expanse of the membership in terms of their diversity. Would you consider yourself to be perhaps the key voice for communities in Botswana, if you like?
We wouldn't actually. We would say the community are the main ones. We are the enablers for the communities to actually put up their voice. We have actually done that in several ways. If you remember when there was a moratorium of hunting, we also, when there was a commission that was put out to go and actually, get some kind of feedback from communities whether hunting can be lifted, we actually organized communities to actually also put some of their voices into the contribution, and we provided a position paper coming from the community. On the issue of the CBNRM Act, we also organize communities to provide feedback at an earlier stage of development, at the validation stage, and even in the development of regulations. And we provided a position. And we have been doing this kind of work in where we bring together communities. We are now thinking of having an association, a national association.
Wow.
For community-based natural resource, because we have realized that within the Act itself does not have community voice in it.
Doesn't provide for communities.
Yes, it doesn't provide for community voices within it. And we think that voice should come from somewhere. And this is why we are thinking of an association that will actually be able to bring issues of communities. So we are going to have a CBNRM forum on the 15th to 16th of July in Maung at Maung Lodge. Yes, we are having that next month.
And that is for all the communities?
That is for all community-based organizations across the country. We are going to give the government a platform to be able to maybe now to present the final piece of the regulation,
Okay.
and maybe to restart the registration. We are going to actually give them that platform within the forum.
Wow.
So that after the forum, we will have maybe an interim committee for the formation of the association. And that association will be the driving force of CBNRM or guiding the community-based organizations, because by then they'll be called community-based organizations.
So it'll become necessarily a member of the NCONGO immediately as soon as it's formed? Or how do you envisage it?
We will actually, it will be also an affiliate basis for these CBOs.
Okay.
But us and other civil society organizations, we will be providing technical assistance to this body. But we will house the association to nurture it and grow it and make sure that it's on its feet before we release it.
Okay.
So, but we'll support it throughout.
Is there an appetite for that among the communities themselves?
There is an appetite for that because if you remember the last 2012 CBNRM forum, which was organized, the communities came up with that recommendation. And then in 2023, if I'm not mistaken, where we had a CBNRM forum again in Maung, they also came up with the same recommendation. Because the issue is within the region, Botswana does not have a formidable voice either than in Congo at the moment.
Okay.
A formidable voice that is national in terms of community voices. We have been actually playing that role, and we want that role to be liberal and actually cover the whole country.
So really this would be the key voice in terms of community CBOs that we have not had in the past.
Yes.
What because of this lag, what has been the problem?
Because of this lag, communities have not actually had an opportunity for them to be able to organize themselves in terms of issues that affect them. If you remember, communities have actually been acting alone when they have issues.
Working in silos, so to speak.
Yes, we're working in silos when they have issues, and we find that not to be connected. And again, we have been missing out in terms of our association with other Southern African bodies that actually work with communities. Also in terms of resources, our communities can also benefit from different kind of platforms, either than the ones where we say they would benefit from the natural resource around them. They can actually be able to also leverage on the funding that comes from outside. But these have been the loss because we haven't been connecting with these other communities from the region to see what they are doing. If I tell you, CBNRM, it's an old thing. I mean, we started it. Namibia came here to actually see what we were doing, and then went to actually, re-engineer their own, and now they're being, promoted as one of the best, But we have started this thing, and we need to actually now see how we grow our CBOs from the area where they are now, where we depend mostly on rentals. The CBOs, either photographic or hunting, they still actually depend on leasing.
Leasing the land.
Leasing the land. So you lease the land or you lease the quota. You sell the quota. It's more like rental.
So there's more that they could actually...
So we need that kind of diversification, where can we sit and then we start talking on these issues and seeing to it that we expand the horizons of these communities. Our communities have been making money. If you most of the communities who are in the northern part have been making substantial kind of money. But if you go and look into their areas, you find that you can't see the money. You can't see the development. So we are saying there are certain elements that we have not been doing that we need to do as a program, as communities, in terms of developing the enterprise of these areas. You know, yeah.
So, nevertheless, even despite this vacuum, NCONGO has been taking the lead in supporting the community. What sort of work have you been doing? For example, if you were to take the issues concerning the new legislation, the regulations that are coming in, you know, the quotas, even issues of the consumptive tourism versus non-consumptive tourism, which has generated quite a lot of debate. What kind of work have we been doing in that space?
Because in that space, our communities are in both. We have those who are doing photographic, and then we have those who are doing hunting or consumptive tourism. But what we have been doing is, in terms of consumptive tourism, we have actually worked on advocacy part. We have signed letters that goes to European parliaments on the behalf of Botswana communities, together with other Southern African countries. We have supported a number of items that talks to Southern African consumptive tourism at CITES as communities. We have lobbied at CITES for a community committee at CITES, which has been rejected several times. But we
keep coming back.
We keep coming back in terms of actually seeing that. We have also gone to the length of addressing the House of the Lords in the UK. I've been there twice, addressing the same house on
issues of hunting.
Yes, on issues of hunting, as for the legislature that they wanted to actually put out. But at the moment, as I speak to you, working with JAMA through Community Leaders Network, there is some kind of graphic that is going on within the UK, just to actually, you know, alert the community of the UK in terms of you know, us in Africa in terms of issues of consumptive tourism. And then we have also, you know, because our communities, like I said, they are in both. In all this work of advocacy, because the issues have been on the issues of consumptive, those who are in photographic has also been supporting, you know, in terms of also be part of signatories to support that the other communities who are doing consumptive tourism should also be continuing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have played that advocacy role specifically on the side of the communities that depend on the natural resources.
Yes.
Now, let's come to the diffusion of the new legislation, the Act,
Yes.
and the regulations. What kind of role do you think you play or you can play in ensuring that communities actually, one, understand what the law is and how they actually begin to benefit from what the law is trying to achieve?
Partly, us, it's more giving the communities awareness on the law itself. So what we have done, or what we have started doing, is we just last month we called community-based organizations to Mau to basically look at the Act itself and look at the regulations. And we were unpacking the Act to show them how the Act is actually being interpreted, bringing in legal people to actually explain to them fully. And this explanation has actually opened, eyes of these communities in terms of the law. And we gave them the opportunity to contribute towards the regulations, because that's the last bit that we can actually maybe say something on it. Our contribution has been actually taken. We are just awaiting to see whether all what we contributed towards the regulations with the communities has been accepted by the ministry. But if it's also included, then it will be a plus in terms of leveraging, because like I said, the Act has a lot of gaps, but it's a good start because we didn't have an Act for CBNRM. And the dangers of not having an Act is every government that comes in might actually change whatever they want. But if there's an Act, then they will be forced by law to adhere to what is there, unless you review.
Which brings me to another point, because it does seem like, especially when you're talking about hunting, it does seem like, and as you were saying, it does seem like it is really left at the mercy of the government that happens, or shall we say, yes, the regime that happens to be at that time. Does the Act, as it is right now, guarantee that there would not be, for example, a willy-nilly declaration of ban on hunting, for example?
That is not there in the Act.
Okay. Are you okay with that?
We are not okay with that, because they still, we still have issues with the land, because we still rightly believe that the model where we are given user rights is not enough. We believe that if these particular areas are turned into concessions that are conservances per se, where now the communities have major control of this particular piece of land, and they can actually attract better investment, unlike where you are just given user right, which is, on my view, is just you are given the use of the product that is within that area. So the government can actually still take the area.
Anytime.
Yeah, so there's still issues of, land tenure.
That needs to be sorted out.
Yeah, that needs to be sorted out, because if we sort the land tenure, then we'll say the communities are winning something. But at the moment, it's still on the mercy of the government of the day for that community to particularly continue with that particular area. So we think there's still a lot to be done, but we start somewhere.
That's right. So that is one of the, if you like, quote unquote, fights that Congo still has to engage on.
Yes, land.
And you think by having communities now having their own association, do they stand a better chance of actually advocating for that kind of amendments that would guarantee a land tenure status for communities?
Yeah, you see, if we have one voice, the issue is actually to associate and have one voice that actually speaks to one thing. It's not only land; it's also issues of products that are within that are found within our natural area. We have issues of edible fruits within those areas. We have grass. We have those who are doing basketry. They actually get different things that do basketry, even the coloring. They come from different particular trees. But in terms of biocultural protocols that can actually protect those areas for those communities, is not there.
It's not there.
Yeah, so people might actually go into those areas and start claiming certain products that they discovered them. Like if you take the element of hodia, sangaparile. You know, all those products are community products. But in terms of the law, there's nothing that you find that protects these communities from exploitation by researchers who traverse those areas.
So these are the sort of things that you expect, for example, that envisaged community CBO association, if you like, would be looking at.
Yes, and the other thing, under the association, we are also looking at data. You know, data has become a product that can be sold, you know, but our communities generate a lot of data. But we don't have a way on how we can actually collect this data and then, you know, make it, you know, sellable.
Monetize.
Yes. So people just come into our areas, do the researches, promise the communities that once we finish the research, we'll give you the product. And then they leave without even maybe narrating whatever they found within their area. And then they sell that information somewhere else. So we have started an ops room that is actually done by wildlife, life through wildlife, that is in Kangwa. The ops room would basically collect information within that area, you know, strengthen benefit distribution, and then also on the issues of understanding the biodiversity in their area in terms of the number of animals around that area. So we're looking into this to see how we can actually expand these kind of processes and have a place where they can actually be stored, and then communities can actually also be able to benefit. There are other opportunities that are coming, issues of bio credits and so forth, which communities also have to be ready in terms of how they actually, you know, approach those ones.
So, indeed, it would be, if you like, you would be the organization that actually empowers communities to take advantage of these products, so to speak.
Yes,
that are being generated.
That's where we are actually moving to.
Okay.
We think in a way again, Retzi, I think for me, I think we have actually been trolling at the same place in terms of the CBNRM. We have not actually let it grow in terms of beyond the natural resources.
The natural resources.
Yeah. Because I think we have limited the capacity of the communities to be able to grow. Because for me, I think, like if you look into the current CBNRM Act, what it spells, it's more like dictating the kind of development that the communities will be doing.
Wow.
You know, but for me, I think in terms of diversity, we haven't actually reached that. We have not actually enabled it to diversify, to actually realize the wildlife economy within in terms of diversity.
So you think it's limiting the possibilities of what CBOs can actually begin to benefit from?
Yes, it limits, because like if you just take how we constitute the boards.
The boards.
You know, where within the confinement of the CBNRM Act, we say somebody has to be a resident of a certain area for 5 years. You know, that's what we say. You know, does it limit me as a bona fide child of that particular place who is staying in Habroni to be part of the board?
Wow. So when you interpret it, you can actually realize, sorry, it actually does.
Yeah.
Limit you as a bona fide, not only just resident, but somebody who grew up there.
Yes, because I might be in Haboroni working here, but I still come from that place, and I have certain knowledge that can actually assist my community to actually move. But it will be limiting and said I cannot be part of the board. I mean, there's evidence of technology at the moment.
Absolutely.
Where the engagement can actually be happen seamlessly without me having to actually maybe fly or go there, you know, so that we actually make decisions that can actually develop the area itself. But that is not happening. We actually limiting that to our fellow colleagues that are left within our villages, and this has not worked for many years.
That's an interesting. But obviously, the act is already is promulgated. It's on. There's not much you can do about it, except perhaps hope that in maybe some future it might be amended. So far, in terms of some of the challenges that you see within the Act, for example, when you talk about that, these are no longer trusts now, they are now considered community-based organizations. They are supposed to transfer from, the Justice Department to the ministry. What are the sort of challenges that you are seeing now in terms of that transition from trust to CBOs?
Basically because it's taken long for us to understand how far we are in terms of the process of the transfer. The law was actually signed by a president this January, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not
Correct.
January, it's
Yeah,
February.
it is early this year.
Yes, very recently. But the thing is, we haven't actually received anything in terms of the model of deeds that would actually guide the communities in terms of how they put together their constitutions. You know, the law has started, but the communities also are not static. They need to change their leadership. So they are just waiting on the law itself to start, so that if they do the changes, it's according to the law. And the processes of registrations, the processes of moving to the other side. So they are waiting on the ministry to actually give that green light and give templates that they are going to actually follow. To be on that side.
Okay. And what is your role in ensuring that actually that there is movement in that space? Because, listen, right now the hunting season is on, the clock is ticking. The expectation is that at the end of the year there should be re-registration if registration it hasn't happened yet. What is your role in ensuring that communities comply?
Us is for us to bring communities together and engage with the ministry.
Okay.
This is why we are inviting the ministry for the community, for the CBNRM forum. We are the one who have actually initiated the CBNRM. It's not from the government side. So we are inviting them to come and actually maybe deliberate on the final ways of the regulations and the act, so that we can kickstart the transition. So we are also, conscious of the time. Yeah.
Okay. If you just tuned in, this is Wild BW Podcast, and today we are with the CEO of the Ngamiland Council of Non-Governmental Organizations, Slim Samaseku, the man who is in charge of trying to get communities around the country together, because the important thing is that they should be able to benefit from the resources that they are living with. And don't forget to share, to comment, and to also spread the word about our podcast, so that we are able to reach much more people. So, Samaseku, you have been engaging with government. How is government looking at NCONGO? Are they seeing you as a nuisance, or as an important stakeholder in this space, whether it's in conservation, whether it's in tourism?
The government has actually now taken us serious, I think, and they have also now shown that we are an important stakeholder within the aspect of communities. And they have been actually involving us in different policies that are being reviewed, acts that have been reviewed. So they've been actually involving us. So we are a sector to reckon with, because without us there are no communities. We have actually assisted not only government but even other organizations to organize communities in a very short time.
Wow.
Yeah, so we are an organization that can actually bring together communities in a very short time, because we have been working with communities for many years, since 2008, and we understand them.
So you feel emboldened now that you are being, engaged as a voice to reckon with.
Yes, we find it as an opportunity for communities to actually be able to raise their voice. And this is why we think if the communities now will have their association, it will be easier now for them on issues of environment and livelihood, for them to directly speak to them. Because our vision is more on communities to be able to drive their sector, instead of them being bystanders, like this element of tenant landlord. So we want that to be, for them to be
take
shareholders.
charge, yes.
We want them to be shareholders, not stakeholders. Because for a long time, communities have been stakeholders, not shareholders. Where you find that if I give an example in terms of all these sectors, you find that there's no difference between consumptive tourism and non-consumptive tourism.
Let me now get to the issue of non-state actors. You are a non-state actor, although you partner a lot with Botswana. There's always been some kind of I think ambivalence in terms of how non-state actors are viewed, either both by the state or the public, in terms of their agenda, in terms of their agenda vis-a-vis prevailing policies. Are you not open to, how shall I say, hijacking by other entities that you might eventually be considered to be hostile to the state or having other motives as a non-state actor?
If I may say that, I think we have resisted that over the years. We have not actually been in that space. I think because we have actually relied more on our membership, in terms of the interest of our membership and the interest of communities at large. So we have actually put that kind of vision in front of us and run with it. And it has been not easy for anybody to come and bring their agenda for us to push. So we have been pushing the agenda of the communities. This is why even now we're thinking that communities have to start on looking at them managing the resource than renting them out. Finding a process in terms of how they can actually start, managing the resource instead of, like for instance, the model of rental that is actually happening, where maybe we sell a quota and we don't participate. We think at some point we need to be part of the selling. Yeah, we need to actually have our community quota, where we also be able to sell part of it, and the the joint venture partner who
The
is with
operator.
us, the operator, works with us in developing us, to also finding a product.
So at the moment, the power lies with the what? With the operator. If you
At the moment, we sell everything to the operator. If it's on the lodge part, we just give the land, and the person develops and then gives us a certain amount. But what we are saying is, we need to actually be developing as a community to be able to manage at some point.
Do you have timelines that you think perhaps, if you were to say Congo has been successful, or at least the association that you want to form that would assist the communities would have been successful? Some timeline in terms of when do you expect, let's say maybe in the next 5 years, that you see communities actually now owning these resources really?
Basically, that might not be realistic in terms of time, but we have to take a deliberate action in terms of providing knowledge on those kind of space, and bringing opportunities in terms of models that can actually bring out about that kind of engagement. If we want community engagement or community participation, then we need to actually start rethinking certain models that can actually bring community participation. It might also be part of maybe value chain, in certain communities, like if you go to Zim, under Campfire, communities, they weigh, they measure products from consumptive tourism as part of the value chain, and they also charge on that. Our communities can also be able to provide temporal accommodation for the hunters and control the space of accommodation, while the joint venture partner controls the part of hunting. So there are other models that we can actually be able to adopt. But what we need to do is for us to avail knowledge to these communities in terms of models, to also take them to areas where these models are working, and so that as time goes on, we can actually build on the experiences and move forward, while we move with the joint venture partnerships that we'll be having. The issue is for us to become shareholders, not stakeholders.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Because you that is very, very clear, because you have emphasized it quite a lot in this conversation. What are your priorities now? What are the key things that you need to do now that you believe will move the needle in terms of this beneficiation? Because that is really what you're talking about. Getting the maximum out of the resources that the communities are actually, so to speak, being custodians of.
To drive those interventions, our major priority now is to organize the community into one voice. One is the association. Once we do the association, then the implementation of other aspects would actually fall into place. Yeah. So because one is to organize our CBOs into one voice, so that even when the minister needs to appoint 4 members from the CBOs, it's easier from the association. Like now, where we are not organized as one voice, so the minister might actually, maybe look for TACs to find names that can be in the committee representing CBOs.
You're talking about the national board.
Yes.
For
CBNRM.
For CBNRM.
Yes. So you see, so in that aspect, we think if we have a body, then the body would actually be able to provide the names. And those names would be able, those people will be able to come and report back to the communities. But if randomly select anybody from from a CBO, we might not even get the report.
Okay. But then how do you give it teeth? How do you give it legitimacy to a point where they can actually be a real lobby group for the decision makers?
No,
if it's not in the law.
No, it's. I mean, we are not We are not in the law, but
Correct.
we have been actually pushing issues of CBNRM. It will be doing that, and we know and we believe that the law has just come in, and we appreciate it, and we think as time goes on, at some point the law will be reviewed. Yeah.
So you are operating for the moment on
Yes.
on blind trust.
Yes. Yeah.
But hoping that the authorities would be not only magnanimous but
Yes.
be obliged to ensure that they actually listen to communities.
Yes.
Wow. There is an issue of governance within the CBOs that has been, trumpeted a lot. That there is a problem of governance, and as a result, you see, legal issues. You see communities. You see, challenges of trust. You see people coming in wanting to be members of the trust, and generally some kind of corruption. How do you handle that? How do you intend to get this thing sorted out as NCONGO and perhaps your affiliates?
For over the years, we have actually done what we call trainings, where we have provided knowledge on different areas, including governance, with different funding structures. But what we have come to realize is it's not more on the knowledge issue. It's more on the organizational, should I say, organizational behavior. It's more, there's a need for us to build some kind of organizational culture that is standardized. So we realize that a lot of community trust or community-based organizations have been operating without policy documents. So they've been operating with maybe one document that's mostly called a constitution. So you'd find that the operations are based on the constitutions, but they don't have other policy documents like financial policies. They don't have human resource policies. They don't have governance policies. And we think this kind of standard of operation documents are vital in terms of building organizational culture. That can be followed by any other person who comes in when others leave.
So you think they need to have some kind of instruments that help them to actually run the CBOs?
Yeah, just a basic kind of formation and a setup that would actually start an organization. So that kind of setup, because mind you, these organizations are formed through the auspices of TACs. The TAC would actually come in, encourage the community to register. Once the community register, they might actually maybe end up getting a quota. And then when they get a quota, the quota maybe for the first part is run by a board. They don't have management structure within that, and that has been common. You see, but then at the end of the day, you find that because now the organization has been registered, so the setup of the organization now to start and run as an organization is not there. But the money has come in.
But they are not ready in terms of...
of structuring now the organization so that whenever this group of people leave after they have hired management, when the other group comes, they find a certain kind of, organized culture of running the organization. Yeah.
That also, I would assume, makes the CBOs vulnerable to manipulation by any entity. It could be political, it could be operators, and so forth and
This
so
is
forth.
why it's like that. This is why it's like that. We have actually realized it. And now we have actually turned our trainings away from the classroom based. And we have started now assisting these organizations through, like, if they hire an accounts person, we make an attachment of that accounts person with our organization for several weeks for them to actually, implement
So you
a
handhold
financial
them.
system and then put in real-time data that they have been actually been generated by the board, because by then there was a board, but it's not a simple process for these startups. It's a process where at the end of the day you find that the startup sometimes ditch whatever you have given them and then go back to
the old habits.
yes. So there's a lot to be done. I think it's more on setup and bringing in a certain kind of standardized organizational culture. Yeah.
Wow. So you think that the association that we want to now create, or at least form, will be able to do this kind of work, closer than maybe Congo would have been doing at this moment?
Yes, the association will be able to be doing that, but through other technical bodies, through other civil society organizations providing assistance, including the government also. So, but for me, it's more on the setup. If we have been setting up these CBOs and have certain kind of organizational culture that is replicable,
Okay.
and can actually be transferred to others, then it was going to help them.
Sort of like
Yeah.
when we look at what are now considered some of the successful CBOs, like the SECT, for example. I think there's another one that also, seems to be doing very well. You would then be able to use those models, or at least the, benchmarking that the others can actually do through this association.
Yeah, that's the area we are looking at, so that they can have that. And again, like I said, through the ops room, where you have collected the data, where the community can also be having that kind of data. It's another way of strengthening the way it's run, where you put your financials well, where you be able to actually put together data that you generate from your environment, where you also record your governance issues, all these things, just the things that are needed to be done, where when transactions are done accordingly to financial standards. Those are things that our communities sometimes just sideline. So, but when another group comes in, they work in a different way. But if there is a culture that the office works this way, if you want to buy something, you do 1, 2, 3. If you do this, you do 1, 2, 3. So those kind of culture, they are rare in certain community organizations.
Wow. So as we get towards the end of our conversation, this association is the missing link in ensuring that communities actually function like they're supposed to function, but most importantly, they benefit the folks that actually are supposed to be benefiting from the natural resources.
We need the association like today. It has been a missing link in terms of connecting us to the world, connecting us regionally. So it has been a missing link. we have lost a number of opportunities as community-based organizations to be able to link with our fellow communities within the region. Yeah, if you go to Namibia, you find there is NACSO, but then they have an association that they just formed. You go to Malawi, they have an association of CBOs. You go to Zambia, they have an association which normally holds a forum that they invite other regional associations. They've invited us before. You go to Zimbabwe, there's a campfire, which is has been there for a long time. You go to Mozambique, there is Regacom that is also working in that space to actually bring the communities together. So it's a missing link.
It is.
Yeah.
It would seem to me like it's been a no-brainer. Why has it taken this long?
I think there hasn't been no one driving it.
Okay.
This is why we have taken the torch. Bukongo tried a bit and for the last forum, but then there were recommendations that were not implemented. We are pushing that. Yeah.
Wow. Your last message?
My last message is we are there as NCONGO. NCONGO, it's a voice to recognize. We have actually proved that Botswana communities can also be heard internationally, regionally, and locally. And we have proven that, and we are still going to do that with the formation of the association of community-based organizations.
So you are inviting all of these communities or CBOs.
We are inviting every CBOs, every environmental organizations, which will have time to come to the CBNRM forum that will be on the 15th and 16th of July, 2026 in Maung Lodge.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, there you have it. We've been talking to the CEO of the NCONGO, the Ngamiland Council of Non-Governmental Organizations, Mr. Slim Samaseku. And of course, he's been calling to all CBOs, that is the community-based organizations, to a forum that will now presumably or hopefully be the start of the association of CBOs on the 16th and 17th of July in Maung. Remember, this is Wild BW Podcast. My name is Oshinka Tsiang. Don't forget to share, to like, and also to subscribe to this channel so that we can be able to spread the message forward. So until we meet again, and don't forget also that you can get our comments on the Tuesday Grill every Tuesday, where we comment on issues of conservation and tourism. For now, thank you for watching.